Hi guys, my name's April Peterson. I'm doing my project on Colin Ferguson. A little bit of background information on Ferguson is that he was born in Jamaica on January 14th, 1958. His father was a managing director of a large pharmaceutical company, one of the most prominent businessmen in Jamaica, so their family was very well known. They were very high class there. He had 4 brothers and was known for being a very well student athlete from numerous people. He graduated in 1974 and he was top third of his class. He was very smart. In 1978, unfortunately, Ferguson's father died in a car crash, and then not long after, his mother died from cancer. Both of these deaths really hurt Ferguson. He was mentally destroyed afterwards and did not handle their deaths very well at all. At age 23, Ferguson decided to move to America on a visitor's visa, hoping to find a well-paid job on the East Coast. Unfortunately, he couldn't find any job that paid well, and he blames this on racism. He said that white people didn't treat him the way that he should be treated, and he didn't understand how he could go from such a high-class family and well-known person in Jamaica to someone in America where he was treated like nothing. And this outraged him. 3 years after he arrived in the U.S., he met a woman named Audrey Warren, and they ended up getting married. She was from Jamaican descent, so she understood where Ferguson was coming from about this outrage of not being treated right by white people. He had these outbursts pretty frequently, and not long after they were married, they ended up having a divorce because of the so many fights that took place in their household. They ended up buying a house in Long Island, and it's said that the police had to come to their house to break up multiple fights between them multiple times. In April of 1993, Ferguson decided he was fed up in New York City and packed up all his belongings and moved to California. When he arrived to California, he was mugged by 2 guys, and he decided to buy a $400 pistol that he was going to carry everywhere with him in a bag. No matter where he went, it was said that he had this with him. And then in May of 1993, he ended up moving back to New York City, and not long after did the shooting occur. So on December 7th, Ferguson boarded a 5:33 p.m. Long Island commuter train. On his lap was his gun and 160 rounds of ammunition. As the train approached the station, Ferguson stood up and began firing at passengers on both sides of the train, and he was pulling the trigger, and while he was doing this, about every half second he was pulling the trigger, he was saying, "I'm going to get you, I'm going to get you, I'm going to get you," while he was shooting numerous people. After emptying 2 rounds, he was reloading a third, and this is when passengers were able to jump on top of him and pin him down until police officials came and were able to arrest him. As Ferguson was laying down pinned by these passengers, he just kept saying, "Oh God, what did I do? What did I do? I deserve whatever I get. What did I do?" And during this occurrence, 6 passengers ended up dying and 19 people were injured. Police searched Ferguson and found several scraps of notebook paper in his pockets with headlines such as "Reasons for This," "Racism by Caucasians," and "Uncle Tom Negros." There was even a scribbled reference to his February 1992 arrest that referred to the false allegations against me by the filthy Caucasian racist female on the number 1 line. Also amongst the notes, there were different names and phone numbers of the lieutenant governor, of the attorney general, of the Manhattan law firm that Ferguson had threatened, to whom referred to as those corrupt black attorneys who not only refused to help me but also stole my car. Based on these notes, it appeared that Ferguson planned to delay the killings until he left New York. And Ferguson arraigned on December 8th, 1993, where he remained completely silent and refused to enter a plea. He was ordered held without bail, and a reporter even asked Ferguson on his way out why he hated whites, and Ferguson replied that that's a lie. During the investigation, detectives say that this was planned for over a week, that Ferguson had been planning this not for a very long time, but it was planned that he was going to shoot up a place. I don't think that it was planned based on his arrival on the commuter train, but that's when he just lost it. Chief Joseph Flynn of the Railroad Police say that this was a work of a deranged maniac person who, for a variety of reasons, decided to explode that day. None of Ferguson's victims were black, and this is unsure if he did this purposely or what, because they do not know how many black people were on the commuter train with him. And also, Ferguson showed no emotion as he sat in the back of the cop car, and he showed no remorse when he was being questioned later that day. The official said that he was lucid and clear and knew exactly what was going on. There were even victims of the shooting who were yelling, saying, "How could you do this? What is wrong with you?" And Ferguson showed no remorse. He acted like he didn't hear anything. Ferguson's attorney on December 11th, 1993, called for his client to receive a psychiatric evaluation. This insanity defense required Ferguson's lawyers to prove that he suffered from mental illness and as a result could not tell the difference between right or wrong. And they thought it would be hard considering that he planned these attacks, but they figured they could prove that maybe he was paranoid because he felt that white people were out to get him no matter what. He was also placed on suicide watch in jail. On January 5th, 1994, it was proved that he suffered from paranoid personality disorder, but he was competent to stand trial. And on January 19th, 1994, 3 days after evidence presentation, a grand jury handed up a 93-count indictment charge against Ferguson. The indictment included 2 counts of murder for each slain victim, both for intentional murder and for depraved indifference to human life. This also included 19 counts of attempted murder, 34 counts of assault, criminal possession of a weapon, intent to use the weapon, violation of civil rights for each victim, and intent to harass, annoy, and threaten and alarm the victims because of their race, color, or national origin. And he is now serving a sentence of 315 years and 8 months to life at the Upstate Correctional Facility in Franklin County, New York.